But let's get to the big news of the day that broke yesterday. Teddy Bridgewater signing with the Detroit Lions. And D-Mac, it's one of those things for me. We've had these discussions and I want this out there now because I got the tweets right away. I wonder how Neil's going to respond to this. Neil's going to cook this. He's going to be upset. Chances are I won't be, and here's why.
No, there's no. I think I know why.
I know you know why.
I think you've trained me why.
Yeah.
It's because everything to make this move, they've set themselves up. They've set themselves up for success in making this move. This fits into everything that they've done. And the first thing that I looked, and even though we haven't heard the details, right? Because the number is 1 year, right? Which is perfect. It's just, is it $4 million? Is it $5 million? Or is it $3 million?
Right.
But regardless of what it is, Brad Holmes has set himself up by keeping the money.
Keeping the money right as we went along.
This goes right into everything you talk about. Draft capital, salary cap, where can you maneuver, right? This is like the chess play by Brad Holmes, sort of at the end piece. And I go back, Neil, to what did Brad Holmes say at the end of the season? The backup quarterback job we will address, right? Because we knew in the position that we were in last year. I'm paraphrasing, obviously, but we don't want to be in the same position. So what have they done? They've kicked all the tires. They saw that. You sort of see this coming with the release of Nate Sudfeld. So it's just the fact of whether you're more comfortable because it's $3 million or less comfortable because it's $5 million. But regardless, the deal's the deal, and it looks good. My first inkling, what I wanted to ask you, doesn't this scream development for Hendon Hooker?
To me, it screams like a redshirt year, which they kind of talked about.
No, but a development year. Yes, a redshirt development, sitting on the sidelines in the room with Teddy Bridgewater.
Right.
More than Jared Goff. So Jared Goff doesn't have to focus on helping the kid as much. He can more focus into the game plan and stuff. And Teddy Bridgewater, as the experienced guy, can answer all the questions and sort of be there as another coach. To me, it's like adding sort of a player coach as your backup quarterback that has done it in this league.
Yeah, and there are some elements to it as well, D-Mac. Look, he knows the score, right? When he chose to sign here, he knows the score. He knows Jared Goff's the guy. He knows Jared Goff's coming off a great season. He knows this is going to be Jared Goff's team. That's the way that it is. So right there, that tells me he's not stupid. Like, he's walking into the situation with his eyes wide open, knowing what the situation is. More importantly, who the situation is. So from that standpoint, that's great. It all comes back to this, D-Mac, and you said it, and I'm going to echo the sentiment. For the people looking for me to say, oh, that's, you're upset, or, I thought you said you didn't care about the backup quarterback position. Here's why, when new information presents itself, you have the right to change your opinion. And the Teddy Bridgewater thing, I guess I'm on board with what everybody else is saying. Like, he's a guy that's had pretty good numbers through his career. He's been hurt a lot, etc. And that's fine. But the deal for me is they had $18 million in cap space. And one of the more viral clips that we had when I talked about Brad Holmes and why things are different with the Lions was because of financial flexibility. They were prepared for any scenario. If one of the better backup quarterbacks is on the market and he's there, they're in a position to do that. If somebody's a surprise cut at training camp, they can do that. And that's why, like, when I'm looking at it, yeah, that 4-ish, 5-ish million mark. What made me flip out about it before was when you have people at this network, people who are on the show after us, that were adamant that said, well, Teddy Bridgewater, if he's $8 million, go get him, $8.5 million. No. That's irresponsible at that time in space. Before you had addressed all your needs in the secondary defensively, which Brad Holmes did through free agency. They went and did everything that they wanted to do from a necessity standpoint. I think the Teddy Bridgewater thing was a luxury, but it was a luxury they could afford, D-Mac.
Isn't this a cherry on the top to what they've built? And right now, having guys healthy or guys that are, you still got Mosley coming back, but as far as this team being put together, this was like sort of the final piece into going into training camp or going into exhibition season. Now, we got to wait and see, and hopefully nobody gets hurt and stuff like this. But this really makes this team, it sort of, to me, it just puts the cherry on the top to where was the question mark on this team going in. We all talk, there's questions, Neil, but not questions of who's going to get the opportunity to begin with. Right now, we know that who's going to get the ball, who's going to be looked to, to stop the run. To now they just got to go out and perform. The thing we didn't know is who is our backup, and I think that's sitting here today, as Lions fans, it's the comfortability because Teddy Bridgewater knows what he's coming in here for. It's not coming in here to play.
That's D-Mac, to me. That's the most of it there.
And doesn't it? So when I would say to people like the fact that he just didn't come in. Because he was in here last week and did whatever he did. And then he took his time as a veteran guy and decided what is it he wants to do.
And the Lions took their time, too.
No, but that's what I'm saying. In the conversation, and they worked it out to what role does he need to fill. And I think coming in here, that's what he's going to do. It's going to be more of the mentor and being the, being able to stand there with Hendon Hooker and being able to explain different things. That's the fast track. Now he's going to be ready to play. We've seen it in the past that he can come in and win a game. Now, we don't want him to play a duration of game. This is Goff's team, and he knows it's Goff's team. He's just coming in and going, okay, I see what you're doing. This, to me, screams the culture that we keep talking about coming out of Allen Park because they keep showing by guys keep wanting to be there. Teddy Bridgewater didn't want to be a part of something or didn't see that there was something special being built here, even for a year that he could help. Then he wouldn't be here. He'd be off trying to be a starter somewhere, wouldn't he?
Right. And because that was an avenue that was open to him. Long-term thinking, if I'm Teddy Bridgewater, just to kind of try to get inside his head for a moment. Here's how I would handle it if I were Teddy Bridgewater. I would wait until an emergency situation creates desperation, i.e., I'm waiting for a quarterback to go down.
Which is an option. Which would have been an option, which we know that then he would have got paid, or
which will probably happen
in his career, right? He'd rather be a part and something special and building something special, and it'll be great. The best part is he's a part of this team, so hopefully some of these questions Broder or Gabby can ask, about why was his decision to come here. And, so that'll be interesting to hear. It's a veteran guy, a guy that's a Pro Bowler, a guy that's been around, a guy that has proven that, he can command an offense in this league. I mean, are you not sitting here like a little bit more comfortable with what you got in your quarterback room than you were yesterday?
No question. Yeah, no question about it.
Absolutely. The money doesn't mean anything. You're not paying him $8 million. You're going to pay him around probably $5 million at the most, maybe $6 million. But again, you've created that room and that salary cap space and that money there to go out and do this.
Right. WoodwardSports.com chat thread. The people are speaking. Jay Cruz in 71. How much did he cost, though? We don't know yet. That hasn't been reported. Yeah, we're speculating right now. I have looked at Spot Track. They haven't updated the terms of the contract. One thing that is interesting, though, they have under their little chart that they use, they do have 2023 and 2024. So what I'm guessing is probably when they signed him, I would imagine that it'll be, quote unquote, a 2-year deal, but the second year of the deal will be the dummy year that you keep, voidable year that you keep hearing about. And all that is to stretch out the signing bonus. Yeah. You just take your money, you guarantee it, but you can stretch it out over 2 years. And then as the cap continues to go up, that signing bonus is less and less and less percentage-wise.
Whatever it is, it's team-friendly, right?
Yeah, I mean,
it's got to be. I mean, it's both. Like, it's something that works out for both sides.
Yeah, that would be my guess, is they might have a second dummy year on there just so they can negate some of the signing bonus costs. My guess is, and this is like totally away from what we're talking about right now, D-Mac, my guess is the way that we're seeing teams do this, the voidable year, the quote-unquote dummy year on the end of deals, this salary cap's going to jump a lot. There's got to be something brewing in the league that's going to be huge, a huge influx of cash, be it from a streaming partner or whoever.
Well,
And this, I'm getting granular here and kind of geeky and sports businessy, but that's that. You know how I like to do. I'm getting that kind of feeling.
That's you're trying to. That's how the temperature feels. So,
yes.
And you know what? It just larked back to Steve Yzerman and talking about the hockey and talking about free agency and talking about how they in the NHL have to sort of do their own numbers and speculate what the salary cap is going to be going up to in the next couple of years in the NHL too. So why wouldn't it do that in football also? So there's something definitely to it.
WoodwardSports.com chat thread, DNC-ENT. I still would rather have D-Hop or Jalen Ramsey pre-injury than Teddy. Best case scenario, he'll only see snaps in Week 18 if we have the division wrapped up. And yes, that is guys, that is the point of a backup quarterback. You hope they never play.
Right.
I hope we never see Teddy Bridgewater play. Nope. That's my preference. That is
you see the
case.
Development in his redshirt year of Hendon Hooker. Like that. Does anybody else? Does it just scream that this bringing him in just screams to help develop Hooker?
Yes.
In a redshirt year, like to me that is more of yes, it is to have somebody capable if Goff goes down, but they're not looking at that. They're not looking at Goff going down. I think they're more looking at what he can do in the room in a whole year and helping Hendon Hooker.
And DNC, as far as the rest of that goes, the DeAndre Hopkins thing, like, I'm not interested, man, and I wasn't interested because nobody else was interested. And I'm not saying you need to live your life, dictating what other people think or what other people value. I am saying it was very telling that whole DeAndre Hopkins scenario, how everybody lost their mind. I know he's popular in your fantasy football draft, but over here in the real world, there wasn't a lot of interest, D-Mac, for a reason, I'm guessing.
You know what? The pros and the cons, it obviously weighed out, and you would think that right off the rip that you'd think that there's like 10 teams that would want him, but really this has to go deeper than that, either to tread on the tire or attitude in the locker room.
Yeah,
combination of both.
And I think that was going to be the answer to that question. As far as the Jalen Ramsey thing, again, guys, I'm not interested in moving a third-round pick and then giving a guy $36 million guaranteed. When you're third, like I'm not interested in that.
You're not in a position here, and you don't need to, right? At that number, that's frivolous. And I believe Teddy Bridgewater will be at his number will be much more valuable to what he helps out this room than what DeAndre Hopkins.
Yes. WoodwardSports.com chat thread. Hoofhearted says, I hope we see Bridgewater play Week 18 because the Lions already have sewn up first overall in the NFC. And, yeah.
Yes.
we all want
it would be nice
that.
to have that conversation, whether they should sit Goff or not.
No, absolutely.